So the phrase NWOBHM, a new wave of British heavy metal. That is what happens when you get punk and heavy metal mixed. Punk rock and heavy metal. Motorhead even. But what comes to name when you think of the term? Saxon, Iron Maiden, early Def Leppard, and the more obscure ones you get your Tigers of Pantang, Samson, and you get Chateau. But what about Chariot, live at the Marquee, 1986? You get a good, straightforward, butt-kicking concert. So yeah, what we've got, it's got a little booklet. The Marquee in Wardour Street was, just when you look in it on a cold light of day, a hot and sweaty place. You could get just about 400 people in there. It was dark, dingy, the floor was on occasions like super glue and smell of stale beer and smoke. Yet, given all the above, we loved it. The Marquee's history has been well documented over the years. You name the band, and if they were around from the 60s to the 80s, they probably play there at some stage. Careers been made, broken in Wardour Street. The making of Sweating Blood live at the Marquee was, as it turned out, aptly titled. The DVD which you were about to watch was the culmination of a very long day of work, which had always been preceded by a shoot for a promo video for the likes of MTV. Remember the original Headbangers Ball? If you've never been at a video shoot, you know how tedious it can all be, and by the time you've heard the track for the 35th time, you want to do some serious damage to somebody. Probably the person who just cocked up their stage move. However, it was all complete with a little time to spare, so it was worthwhile. By 8 p.m., all the day's toils had been forgotten. The Marquee was rammed to the hilt. So much that you want to go to the bar or have a whiz. If you managed to get out, you'd never get back in. The atmosphere was truly electric, and the sound of lightning guys, Bob and I, decided not to leave their post for fear of not being able getting back in when it all kicked off. Live gigs, which were being filmed and recorded, notoriously bad for things going wrong, with half a dozen cameras plus their associated cables strewn around an already tight venue, plus in this case the live sound being passed through on the Marquee recording studios. The chance of this problem-free things are going wrong. With half a dozen cameras, Marquee recording problem-free night. One little glitch called Murphy's Law, but we used to call it Franklin's Law. Peter Franklin, the singer, can screw up an entire day's work, but in this case it didn't happen. What you are watching is one truly awesome performance from the hardest working bands of the 80s. This DVD is 100% unadulterated rock and roll. No overdubs, no trickery, just pure Chariot. Look closely at the crowds, and there are quite a few familiar faces. Some were already famous, some had just become famous musicians, and some well-known rock journalists, but all appear to be having a blinding time. At the time of writing these notes, it's nearly 20 years since the events of that evening took place, but as a member of the crew, I can assure you that none of us have ever forgotten. It was a pleasure to have been part of that team. Steve Price, 2004. So yeah, pretty good liner notes right there. The songs on here: When the Moon Shines, Take Your Hands Off, Burning, Love or Leave Me, Strangers, So Blind, Meet My Match, Play to Win, Horizon, Screams in the Night, Run with the Pack, Warrior, and Vigilante. This is what I've heard as blue collar metal, riff killing, straightforward, with some blazing guitar solos. Yes. For me, When the Moon Shines, it's a good opener. It's nice. It's energetic. It's not just standard slow. You need to get the pump. You need to get the crowd going. So you need to play something that's got some melody but fast. Take Your Hands Off Me is all right. Burning is another good fast one. It's a little bit longer. Love or Leave Me is fine. Strangers is, and they slow down. Kind of like more of the mid-pace ones. We also got the fast ones. Strangers is good. So Blind's a little bit slower, but it's still got enough of a tempo about it to help it stand out from other songs. Meet My Match is fine. Play to Win is a good, fast, chunky rocker with a nice solo towards the end. Horizon's got a nice little slow build intro, but then it gets up and it's got just a little bit of a, I guess, kind of Thin Lizzy feel to it would be the best way. Screams in the Night is another good one. Run with the Pack has got kind of a Tigers of Pantang vibe, you know, warrior and vigilante. Rounded off for 51 minutes, and you know, it's like this is definitely more of a guitar bass band with the solos, it's there's a little bit of melody in there, but it's not like it's too fluffy, I guess is the word, because these are guys that are just rocking their freaking, and just rocking out, and even the folks in the Marquee just a reason just to forget their woes, have a couple of beers, and just be like, this. You want some straightforward kick butt, rock and roll and heavy freaking metal? Here you go. Yeah, I noticed that the singer is wearing something called, what? You see, we can see it there. The Toothpaste Clan. Were any of them dentists or working in a toothbrush clan? Were they dentists or working at a toothbrush factory? I don't know. Yeah, so it's like it's 51 minutes. The songs you can differentiate because it's not just like standard 3-chord stuff. There is some difference of like the slower songs and the fast songs, and just enough to give everything a good solid feel. You know, so it's like I like this band. Yeah. They have an album called Burning Ambition I may listen to. They came out towards the very, very tail end of the new wave of British heavy metal, NWOBHM. 84 was their full length album, so they have plenty of times to digest. Maiden, Saxon, Tigers, Chateau, Angel Witch, etc. So it's like, yeah, I think this is a gosh darn good copy. It's like, because you know, I said it's like the NWOBHM ended is like the only genre of metal that is defined by a time frame, seriously. So yeah, this DVD is stupidly rare. Amazon's got one for $80. Freaking Discogs has one for, I think, for $90, and eBay doesn't have anything. So honestly, you're just better off just watching it on YouTube. So yeah, I really recommend you watch Chariot live at the Marquee '86. Yeah.